India's Act East policy will gain traction only if there is a committed roadmap for withdrawing AFSPA. What is AFSPA? What are its special provisions? When was AFSPA imposed in Manipur? Is it a time to revoke AFSPA from Manipur? What is the role of Manipur in India's Act East policy? GS Paper 3, Security Challenges and Their Management in Border Areas, Linkages of Organized Crime with Terrorism. What is the context about? Manipur, an important border state with Myanmar. India recast its Look East policy, which originated in the early 1990s, as the Act East policy in November 2014. Manipur, along with other eastern states, needs to be made a stakeholder in any foreign policy that involves acting east. An Act East policy that uses the growth and regional impact of a stronger, better governed Manipur will have far greater impact on India's commitment to its eastern neighbors. Thus, for economic and infrastructure development to take place, Armed Forces Special Powers Act, AFSPA, in Manipur needs to be reviewed. What is AFSPA? What are its special provisions? Armed Forces Special Powers Acts are acts of the Parliament of India that grant special powers to the Indian Armed Forces in disturbed areas. The special provisions of AFSPA are as follows. To enforce AFSPA, the area has to be proclaimed as disturbed. Once in place, the Act empowers an army officer to use force, including his gun, against anti-social elements. The army can destroy hideouts and stashes of anti-social elements. An army officer can arrest a perpetrator or a suspect without a warrant, if need be, forcefully. The army is empowered to search any premise without any warrant. An officer has legal immunity. Any person helping the army under this act should also receive immunity. When was AFSPA imposed in Manipur? Manipur has been beset by insurgency ever since it was formed in 1949. The fault lines that existed during colonial administration by the British got accentuated post-independence. AFSPA was imposed in Manipur in 1980 as it had been declared a disturbed area. At one time, there were more than 30 rebel groups, chief among them being the Nagas. It is a well-known fact that several rebel groups have their bases in neighboring Myanmar. Thus, government maintained a stand that it is necessary for the security of the state and protection of the integrity of India. Is it a time to revoke AFSPA from Manipur? Before arguing for the withdrawal of AFSPA, it is pertinent to know how insurgency was controlled in Tripura, which repealed AFSPA in 2015. It was a combination predominantly of political will of Tripura administration and use of security forces to bring peace, when insurgency was at its peak in 2014. According to the South Asia Terrorism Portal, the number of civilian deaths in Manipur has shown a continuous decline since 2007 and was the lowest in 2016. At the moment, drug trafficking by the rebel groups of Manipur is fueling the insurgency in the state. What is the role of Manipur in India's Act East policy? The Act East policy at its core focuses on using India's eastern border states to improve trade relations with Southeast Asia. Manipur, which shares 355 kilometers of its border with Myanmar and remains India's most economically viable border to the southeast. Ever since its inception, Manipur is witnessing cycle of violence and insurgency movements within the state. The weakest link in this grand strategy, however, is the state of the states along the northeastern border. The border states cannot metamorphosize into a gateway for Southeast Asia without any tangible development within the states themselves.